Keys to Successful Hive Management. In this training, you will gain a comprehensive understanding of how you can manage your honeycomb logo mat storage system using the interactive Hive. To start, please know that the Hive is simply an electronic version of your physical honeycomb system. The two should look the same and work in sync with one another as changes are made. It is not meant to create more work for you in the plant. It is merely a means of managing the ebbs and flows of your logo mat business from wherever you are able to connect to the internet. When operated properly, the Hive should take minimal time and effort to use and can be a great resource for growing your logo mat business. In order to access the Hive, you must first log in to CentosMats.com. If your location has an active Hive, you will see the yellow Hive icon at the top center of your homepage. If you don't see the icon, contact your Millennium customer service representative to get your location's Hive activated. Once you click on the icon, you will be directed to the Hive homepage in a new web browser. Let's discuss the various components of the homepage. The central focus of the homepage is a cluster of hexagons that make up a replication of your honeycomb's A rack. All of your honeycomb's racks are depicted in this way and can vary if the layout of the honeycomb changes. In the top right corner, you can see your location's name and number. If you have access to more than one location, you can click on the link and a drop-down will appear listing the other additional locations you can view and manage. Just underneath the location name and number, you will see lettered icons that represent each rack in your honeycomb. When clicked, you are taken to that specific rack. If you click the All icon, you can slide left to right to view all of your racks instead of only viewing one at a time. Moving below the rack icons, you will see your status key. The status key tells you the state that each colored space in your Hive is currently in. Yellow spaces are available mats, blue spaces are canceled mats, and so on. There will be more to come on each of the statuses. To the far left of the page, there are two view icons. The top icon represents Honeycomb View and is the default view when you log into the Hive. The bottom icon represents List View and is a way to see all of the information stored in the Hive in list form rather than having to click on individual Hive spaces to reveal the information pertaining to the mat that resides in that specific tube. List View is great for performing your regular Hive cleanup, which we will discuss in more detail later in the training. Lastly, on the homepage, direct your attention to the contact information in the top left corner of the page. Use this contact for future honeycomb and Hive troubleshooting assistance. Now let's move into how the Hive works. The Hive is linked to AS400 and will also be linked to SAP once the conversion takes place for your location. A nightly query runs, automatically sending a location's logo mat data to the Hive. The Hive picks up the following three components of the query's data: the item number, the item description, and the inventory and delivery quantity. If any of the three data components are out of range, the Hive will not update properly for the specific mat that is keyed with the incorrect data. For example, there are only 10 logo mat item numbers that can be used for the Hive. If an item number is used for a mat that belongs in the Hive that is outside of the approved 10 item numbers, then that mat won't be uploaded to a space in the Hive. The same error will occur if a tube number in the item description is keyed in AS400 incorrectly. The first 5 characters of every mat item description that is uploaded into the Hive should be a corresponding tube number, which is 1 letter and 4 numbers. Anything other than 1 letter and 4 numbers will not be uploaded into the Hive. Lastly, an error will occur if the inventory quantity and delivery quantity are incorrect. For every logo mat placement, there should be 1 line item with a total inventory quantity of 2 and a delivery quantity of 1. Why? Because each placement has a home in the honeycomb and hive. Every placement represents 2 mats, one with the customer and one with us in the plant. The hive doesn't recognize an inventory or delivery quantity outside of 2 and 1 respectively, and will not update accurately when the data transfer occurs. Now let's jump back to the hive for a deep dive into the function of each space or tube status, starting with filled. The filled function, which is shown as a gray colored space in the hive, occurs automatically for you when the data daily transfer occurs. As long as your item descriptions have the tube numbers keyed correctly and the other 2 data transfer components previously discussed are accurate as well, then the space will show as filled. You can click on a filled space to see what mat is assigned to that tube. Please note that any mats that were existing at your location before you installed the honeycomb, no image or sketch will be shown when you click on the space. For mats that were added after the honeycomb was installed, the sketch of the mat that belongs in the tube will appear when you click on the filled space. You can click the Raw button to see more detailed information about the mat and customer. You will notice there is an option to mark a filled mat as missing. This is a perfect time to discuss the missing function. If a loader goes to pull a logo mat from a space, but it's not there, he can mark that mat as missing in the hive to notify the plant that the mat needs to either be located or reordered if it can't be found. Marking a mat or tube as missing turns the space red. If a missing mat is found, the space can be marked as filled again. This is the only time you can manually mark a space as filled. If a mat is not found and the customer decides they don't want the logo mat anymore, then the space can be marked as available to be filled with a new mat for a new customer. Spaces show as available or yellow when there is no mat listed in AS400 with a corresponding tube number keyed in the item description. When adding new mats to the hive, you want to look for yellow spaces to assign the new mat to. Click on the yellow space, then click Reserve, which will turn the space black. When you reserve a space, you are letting partners know that even though there isn't a mat in that tube of the physical honeycomb, there is a mat on order that will be assigned to the space once it installs or becomes active in AS400. When you reserve a space and the mat assigned to it becomes active, the space will automatically change to filled for you. Lastly, let's discuss the canceled status. Mats will become canceled when one of 4 instances occur. 1. The customer is lost in AS400. 2. The customer is put on hold. 3. The mat is stopped off the invoice. 4. The invoice is zeroed out 3 times in a row. When a mat becomes canceled, the space in the hive automatically turns blue. In other words, you can't manually cancel a mat or tube in the hive. One of the 4 mentioned instances would need to occur first. This is a great way for the plant to be notified of changes to our customer service without having to check in with our service team all the time. Once a week, you should perform a hive cleanup where you print a list of all of your canceled mats to determine if they are truly canceled and need to be removed from the honeycomb or hive, or if they need to be reactivated and marked as filled again. The same should be done for missing mats. Once you determine how to handle each canceled mat, you will need to click on that mat and mark it as available, no matter what you want the status to change to. If the mat is truly canceled in AS400, the space will turn to available the following day after the data transfer has occurred. if the mat is not actually canceled and needs to be removed from the honeycomb and hive, you will still mark it as available, but the next day after the data transfer occurs, the space will show as filled because the mat is still active, and the data transfer will send over this information to fill the space. To summarize the weekly Hive cleanup, go to List View and make sure you click on the All icon to see the list view for all of your racks. Then click to see all of the canceled mats in your honeycomb and hive. Print this list weekly with the help of your service team and determine if these mats are truly canceled or if they need to be reactivated in the hive. Once you collect this information, make all of the canceled mats available so that their status can be updated by the following day. The same should be done for missing mats. Rest assured, if your honeycomb is installed properly, your logo mats are keyed correctly, you use your hive regularly to manage your location's logo mats, and you perform a honeycomb and hive cleanup once a week, your logo mat business will thrive. You will save your location money, your customers will be happier, and employee morale will increase, all with better logo mat management. Here are some final quick tips for successful hive management. If you're not seeing the updates you made to your hive from the previous day's management, try clearing your cache and refreshing your browser's cookies. Or you can open your hive from Google Chrome. As long as there isn't a keying error, one of these two methods should help activate the updates. If you're not seeing the updates you've made and one of the two above tips doesn't work, run logo mat query in AS400. Sort the spreadsheet by item description and look for the tube number you're trying to see the update for. You may notice there's either been a keying error or there are duplicate mats assigned to the same tube and one of them will need to be reassigned to an available tube.